Josh Brown, been around a long time, 13th year in the league. He'll kick it off. And Tyler Patman is back to receive the kick for the Dallas Cowboys, with Lance Dunbar also in the neighborhood. One at the goal line, the other in the back of the end zone. Brown, after a slight false start, will kick it away. Off we go from Arlington, Texas. 2 yards in. This is Dunbar, and Dunbar comes up to the 18-yard line. Let's take a look at the Dallas offense.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois University.
Joseph Randall, Oklahoma State.
Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State.
Terrence Williams, Baylor.
Jason Witten, Tennessee. Gavin Escobar, San Diego State.
Tyron Smith, USC.
Ronald Leary, University of Memphis.
Travis Frederick, Wisconsin.
Zach Martin, Notre Dame. Doug Freak, Northern Illinois University.
Most of those guys played very little during the preseason. In fact, Bryant didn't play at all, nursing a hamstring, so he sees his first action tonight. That's Witten setting up on the right side, and Romo begins with a play that they used a lot last year with DeMarco Murray. That's Joseph Randall in what will be a running back by committee. Now, Tony Romo, coming off a great season, his 13th year in the league, didn't become a starter though until 2006. 38 career TD passes against the Giants, and against the Giants as a starter, 9-6 in regular season play. And they go the other way, and this is Joseph Randall. With Murray gone, you're going to get Randall. He got a loose ball now as well. The Giants think they've recovered it. Bill Vinovich is the referee. All the Giants indicating it's their ball. Nothing yet from Dallas.
I think
still,
that ball is
nothing.
out. I do think that ball is out.
Randall had 2 fumbles last year on only 51 carries. And Vinovich says no, it belongs to the Dallas Cowboys. So somehow a white shirt winds up in possession of the ball.
Joseph Randall is going to lunge at the very end here, and the knee of Ayers came in to knock it out. And let's see if we can fix. Boy, it sure looked like the Giants had the best chance, and that would have been a heck of a start for a New York Giants team that knows they may need to catch a few breaks here tonight.
So Randall recovers himself. We started to talk about the running back by committee. Now they empty the backfield on 3rd down and 5. They go 5 wide. They got stacks on the left and right side. And the ball has gotten to Gavin Escobar, one of the 2 tight ends, and he has a first down. Here's the Giants defense.
Cullen Jenkins, Central Michigan.
Marcus Kuhn, NC State.
Java Hankins, The Ohio State.
Rob Ayers Jr., Rocky Top University.
Devon Kennard, USC.
Wani Una, BYU.
JT Thomas, West Virginia.
Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, Tennessee State.
Brandon Merriweather, the U.
Landon Collins, Alabama.
Prince McNamara, Apollo High School.
Keep an eye on the safeties. It's been a big issue for the Giants. You got a rookie back there. You got the veteran Mayweather back there. And Romo's going to go to the outside here, and the pass is caught up at the 32-yard line by Lance Dunbar. Tackled there by Prince McNamara.
You know, I think the one thing you have to watch for the New York Giants tonight is, can they generate some kind of a pass rush in this game? Of course, Jason Pierre-Paul had been so much of that throughout the course of his career. You look to Jonathan Hankins, maybe. You look to Robert Ayers, Devin Kennard. There has to be somebody to step up tonight for the Giants.
2nd and 5. Randall back in. He, Darren McFadden, and Lance Dunbar are the 3 running backs who will take the spot. Occupied last year by the league's leading rusher, Murray. The fake draw. And then the pass is caught. And seeking the first down, coming close and getting it, is Joseph Randall. So back-to-back first downs to open the drive, and Dallas has it up at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, a lot of times subtle plays like this for a running back are the ones that make a difference. You got Joseph Randall here. He's supposed to block. He frees up, sneaks out, makes the catch, picks up the first down. He is full of energy. He's a guy that averaged 6.7 yards per carry a season ago, so he's certainly capable. He just didn't have that much work.
Again, running the slant to the outside, and Joseph Randle picks up about 3. Randle is explosive. The question is, can he keep security around the football? We learned that on the opening play, and Scott Linehan is the offensive coordinator. He took over the play calling last year and made a real big difference. Tony Romo loves him. Last year the Cowboys ran the ball 69% of the time on first down. Of course, they had Murray, by far the best in the league, most. 2nd down and 7. The same play again to the other side, and this time it's Joseph Randle up to the 48-yard line. When you've got a guy like Murray, you're going to run it a lot. They did. The Cowboys were 2nd in the league in time of possession. That was part of the reason, and they ran it on 50.1% of the plays, the highest for them since Emmitt Smith was coming out of the backfield.
That's kind of the chicken or the egg, right? Was it the running back? Was it the offensive line? And I think the Cowboys basically made the bet that it was going to be the offensive line that could still dominate.
Hey, Nebraska's 47.
3rd down and 2 with the ball at the 48-yard line. Cowboys empty here. Stacking receivers on the left, going that way. That's going to be a first down as it's caught out in the flat by Lance Dunbar. Gets congratulations from Des Bryant, and they're in Giants territory.
Nice read by Romo to understand he had this one kind of as a layup out here without anybody up on the nose of that wide receiver. But one of the things that Tony emphasized was that, yeah, it's great to run the football when you are converting on 3rd down. But, you know, typically instead of those easy throws that I used to get on 1st down, now 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, you got to hit those. And if you don't, drives in.
2nd best in 3rd down conversions last year with the Cowboys, and that's going to be another first down on their 9th play of this opening drive. Tyron Smith, the left tackle, paving the way for Joseph Randle. 15 yards.
Now, one thing when Tyron Smith can get down the field on a smaller guy, well, it gets a little bit ugly. He secures the outside first and then comes up and just buries the edge on the outside. So JT Thomas getting indoctrinated to a little NFC East football.
Smith, #1 pick in 2011 out of the University of Southern California. Play fake, and then Romo rolls, hits Witten, and Witten makes cat number 944 in a career that should wind up someday with him on the steps in Canton. I mean, he's been just doing it and doing it solidly. He's only missed 1 game in 13 seasons since coming out of the University of Tennessee in 2003. On his way to 1,000 catches, and still the ultimate security blanket for Tony Romo.
Yeah, boy, when they had the season on the line last year with that 4th down play against the Lions, where did they go? Right there.
Over the middle to him, and on their way to a victory over the Lions. 2nd down and 8. This is Beasley, and Beasley squirting to the outside, and he has a first down. Looks a lot like Julian Edelman in terms of when you see a guy like that on the field and wears the same number and does a lot of the same sort of stuff.
He sure does. It doesn't hurt to have a monster like Des Bryant out in front of you either. I tell you, we talk about him as a receiver and some of the incredible plays he made, 16 touchdowns a season ago. But when you got a horse outside like that and he can block like he did on that play, it's just easy money. They're already taking advantage of his size and blocking ability on the outside.
So they've had the ball the entire quarter, which is now half over. They have 5 first downs. They run a delay. Randle goes to the outside, and then coming up to make the tackle is Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. And again, this drive was only perpetuated by a lucky recovery by Randle on the 2nd play.
Boy, that is some tackle by Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie on the outside. But those are going to be the plays that Joseph Randle is tested on. You get one-on-one matchups. Your offensive line gives you the first 3 or 4 yards. Now, can you take it the rest of the way? Can you make that first guy miss? Can you make explosive plays? That's what we're watching for tonight. And maybe we see a little of that out of Darren McFadden later.
Empty again on 2nd down and 10. You got Bryant in the slot to the right. They said Dunbar outside to the right. Romo goes left to Witten. And Witten is forced out of bounds at the 10-yard line by Tremaine McBride. It's going to make it 3rd down and about 5.
Now they're starting to take a little advantage. Spagnuolo trying to use some man coverage. They're already going to the pick plays on the outside. This is a savvy football team. Cole Beasley, the guy that time that was able to create just a little separation on a very easy pass in the flat to Jason Witten.
Cowboys have had the ball almost 9 minutes. 14th play of the opening drive. Play clock at 3. And Romo stepping up, surveys, throws, and it's caught, and the flag is down. Our first of the night. Dunbar, for the moment, would appear to have a first down, but Vinovich will make the call for us. And if it's against the Giants, the Cowboys want to make sure they have the first down.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So is on air is the defensive end 91.
Working against Tyron Smith, and you go up from the jersey and through, and there's your call. And it is a big one. Have to keep an eye on Wani Unga, the young inside linebacker taking over for John Beeson. He is going to have to make all these calls tonight, and on that key 3rd down, he was scrambling around trying to find the right place to be, and finally somebody pointed him in the right direction.
6 first downs on the drive. Began back at their 18. 1st and goal. Fake draw. Then it's batted and incomplete. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie was there. Terrence Williams was the intended receiver. 2nd down and goal.
Boy, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie's played terrific so far. He's going to come right out of this angle over here and just jump in front at the last minute to knock that one away. Pretty good play fake. Of course, with the way the Cowboys can run it, you have to honor that. Maybe that throw just a bit behind Williams.
Romo's first incompletion. Tony starts 7 of his first 8. And a whistle before the snap on 2nd down and goal.
False start. Offense. Number 82. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's news. Witten. And that'll make it 2nd down and goal.
You know, there's 2 receivers in this game that you kind of just sit and wait for them to do something spectacular, don't you? We talked about Odell Beckham, and of course Dez Bryant just has a knack for being able to go up and make plays over people. He doesn't necessarily have to be open. Just give him a chance to outmuscle somebody in the end zone.
2nd and goal. Romo's at 5 different receivers, none of them named Bryant to this point. And then he throws a little bit behind Dunbar. He makes the catch, takes it to the 3-yard line. Prince Amukamara in on the stop. So the Giant offense yet to see the field, and we're almost 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, good solid protection. The Giants that time only rushed 3, dropped one of their defensive linemen out, so Romo got a good chance to sort of scan the field. Important to note too that Tony Romo is feeling better than he has in a long time. He really feels like that physically he's in a much different place than he was on opening day when he really struggled against San Francisco last year.
Eli's watched 1/6 of the game go by without seeing any action. 3rd and goal. Play clock at 2 as Romo comes under center and then throws a fade, and that's incomplete. Intended for Des Bryant, who looks around for a flag. He's covered there by Prince Amukamara, and it's going to be 4th down. So Tony takes that snap under center, throws the fade, not even close.
Amukamara is a guy that the Giants think has had some success against Dez. Now let's see if he wraps that arm around the waist and kept Dez from jumping as high as possible. Pretty subtle little move by a professional defensive back. Usually the officials look to see if you knock the hands away. That time he kept him from jumping with a little arm on the hip.
16 plays on the drive, and this would be a 21-yard field goal for Dan Bailey. And the kick is good. So Randall recovers that fumble on the second play. They run 16. They settle for 3 and take the early lead. Where the New York Giants will finally get the football. And that's the former Cowboy. Now back to return a kick, Dwayne Harris. They hated to lose him, but they had to give up a couple of guys. One of them was DeMarco Murray, and the other was a great special teams performer in Harris, who does not have an opportunity to do anything here. Eli will go to work. They'll start from the 20 when we come back to AT&T Stadium. Here's Manning now from the 20-yard line. Throws to the left side, caught by Daniel Fells, one of the tight ends, and a 1st down. Eli Manning came in here on opening night of the stadium in 2009, beat him. It's his 11th straight opening night start. He will go here without a huddle, leading him up to the line. And of course, the #1 draft pick in the 04 draft by San Diego, and then traded with Rivers a couple of hours later to the Giants. And Rashad Jennings hurt a lot last year. They hope that he can stay healthy, and he'd be the #1 back, gain of a couple.
And one of the reasons the Giants want to go to this no huddle is the Cowboys are known for their incredible hustle on defense, but they also like to substitute a lot. So Eli would like to keep this group of defensive linemen on the field for as long as possible and see how long they can hold up.
2nd and 8. And that is caught, and that's enough for a 1st down. Again, Daniel Fells would be the #2 tight end behind Larry Donnell. Moves the chains. 1st down, New York.
And it's really what the Giants are going to have, and that is somebody else to make plays in the passing game. You're going to see a lot of attention on Odell Beckham in this game. Now, can someone else take pressure off of him?
Here's Beckham, covered tonight by Claiborne. And over the left side, nice hole, but the ball is loose, and the Cowboys wind up with it. Unless he was down first, Anthony Hitchens comes up with the ball as Rashad Jennings fumbles. Still a scramble, now a flag. And of course, we'll go back to see if his knee was down first or if the ball squirted out.
Tell you what, that was one heck of a play by Anthony Hitchens.
And of course, everything gets reviewed on a turnover. So that is the case here. They'll take a look at it. There's also a flag on the play, so we'll get the call from Vinovich. They'll take a look at the play. The way Jennings is reacting, he did fumble it. His knee was
Ruling
not
on
down.
the field was a fumble recovered by Dallas. 1st down. After the play was over, personal foul. Dallas number 39. 15-yard penalty. It'll be Dallas's ball, 1st and 10. Timeout.
That is Brandon Carr. We'll take a look at that. There it is. Ball coming out just as he goes to the ground. I think the Giants are going to get a big break here. Here's Bill Vinovich.
After reviewing the play, the runner's elbow and left knee were clearly down prior to the fumble. It'll be New York's ball, 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. We still have to enforce the unsportsmanlike or the personal foul, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the 34 on the New York hash.
So the penalty stands. Here's another look. Each team gets a huge break on its opening drive when the fumble was recovered by the other team, but they were down. Jennings with the elbow down. Of course, Randall recovered his own fumble on the second play of the long Dallas drive.
This will give you a little bit better look at it. Clearly the elbow is going to go down there, and now the rip by Hitchens.
And then Carr is pulling the guy off, the Giant, number 39.
That's one of those points of emphasis this year. They saw too much ugliness in that situation and changed the rule.
So the Giants now, with the 15 tacked on, have the ball at the Dallas 34-yard line on their opening drive. A little less than 3 minutes to play. Play fake. Manning throws. Caught 20-yard line. Then the ball is loose again. And the Cowboys have it. J.J. Wilcox slams into Odell Beckham, but they're going to say incomplete. So he did not have both feet down.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Whew. What a shot Beckham took.
J.J. Wilcox hit him directly in the helmet, I believe, and knocked that ball out. Now, if you're wondering when does a catch become a catch, there has to be a lot more action after the catch than that. Just think of it as almost the runner has to be in a position to square up and make some kind of a move before you're going to be ruled as a catch there. I think that's the right call.
And the Giants want to get the play away quickly. Now, this is challengeable, and there it is. Don't know which way this is going to turn out. As you said, Chris, a lot has to happen after that. But Garrett says, I want to challenge this thing. So he can get the ball back if it is so deemed that it was a catch and fumble.
Dallas is ruling a challenge on the field of an incomplete pass. Timeout.
Opening night. We got a lot of action in the first quarter. Back after this. Call on the field incomplete. Vinovich now
After
with the
reviewing the play,
ultimate
the ruling
decision.
on the field is confirmed. The receiver never had possession of the ball. Pass is incomplete. Dallas is charged their first timeout and their first challenge. Second down.
That's the good news for the Giants. The other news is that Beckham is now sitting on the bench.
Yeah, and the way the officials look at this is in real time. Did he ever have possession of that ball and be in a position as a runner to make some sort of a move? Clearly bobbling the ball there. The hit took place, never had an opportunity to run and defend himself, so correctly called.
Officials look at that in real time because of the nature of the play. Meanwhile, Preston Parker is in the game. Rashad Jennings for a minimal gain, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Odell Beckham Jr. is back on the field. He took that hard hit, came to the sideline, didn't want to talk to the medical staff, but the head athletic trainer, the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, and the team orthopedist all insisted that he sit down and chat, but here he is back on the field.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So out for just that one play. Third down and 8 now. A little over 2 minutes to play. And an action-packed opening quarter. And that is almost picked off. Brandon Carr is there with Preston Parker, the intended receiver, and the drive bogs down on a 4th and 8, and Coughlin is furious.
I tell you what, I think Eli thought he had a free play, and it almost cost him an interception. We got, I think right in here, it looked like Mincy jumped off sides. Eli is now thinking, all right, there's going to be a flag thrown. I got a free play, took a shot, and almost threw the interception here. I'm not sure he throws that ball if he didn't think he got that Mincy to jump off sides.
And that's why Coughlin was so upset. 50-yard attempt now for Josh Brown. And Brown's kick is perfect. 1:58 to go in the opening quarter. It's the Giants 3 and the Cowboys 3 on Sunday Night Football. Five yards deep, Lance Dunbar comes out, but not very far. Good coverage by the Giants special teams. Mark Hertzlick, 94, the first guy to stop him. Well, DeMarco Murray led the league last year in rushing. Of course, he is now in Philadelphia. Gets his first action there tomorrow night at Atlanta. More than a third of the team's offense. First player to lead the league in rush yards start next season with a division rival. I mean, it's one thing to lose a guy, but then you lose him to a division rival, which means you have to see him twice.
Yeah, and the continuity of having basically the same guy in the game all the time. Now they've got all those skill sets probably, but they have them with 3 different guys.
One of those is Joseph Randall, who's in the backfield right now. And he swings to the outside. Picks up about 3 to the 13-yard line. Unga making the tackle.
Wani Unga, number 47, replacing John Beeson. Here he is right here. He's a guy that can really run. He's good in coverage. Gets down the line. Some of those stretch plays that come out there, it takes some speed from that middle linebacker position. The question becomes, can he make all the calls? He's been making them the whole preseason. And then you have the safety, Landon Collins, also a rookie in the back end. So you have to watch some of those communication factors in this game.
Throws and juggled and then caught up at the 25-yard line. Des Bryant. Only time he was targeted on that opening drive was on the 3rd down and goal play, and it was overthrown.
Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie is going to try and take away that boundary, so he's going to allow some of those slants during the course of the game. I think most defensive backs say, as long as I don't let him get down the boundary and make one of those great leaping catches, he catches a couple of slants, I'll give him those.
From the 25-yard line. Half a minute to go in the opening quarter. Romo buying time. Underneath up to the 31-yard line goes Jason Witten. So it'll be 2nd down and 4 when they will change ends of the field. Taking us down to the end of the first quarter. But before that, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie,
oh boy,
is the injured Giant, and that's one of the guys they can most afford not to lose.
It really is just so significant. These 2 corners have to be able to match up man.
Rodgers-Cromartie came off the field under his own power. Was standing along the sideline. They wind the clock now as they're ready for play, and Dallas will come back the other way to start the second quarter. It'll be 2nd down and 3 when we start the second quarter. It's 3-3, end of 1. Sunday Night Football continues after these messages.
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
I'm Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Sunday Night Football, game tied at 3, and it's 2nd down and 3 for the Cowboys from their own 32-yard line. Des Bryant has gone back to the locker room for the Cowboys. He has left the field, and that is his replacement in motion, Devin Street, number 15. Keep it on the ground, plowing straight ahead, getting the first down is Randall, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Des Bryant went back to the locker room. We're told by the Cowboys public relations folks that he is dehydrated and should be back soon. It does get very, very dry down here in this stadium, Al, not only just because of the heat, but it's just very dry. So obviously this might be impacting him. He'll be back soon, we hope.
Thank you, Michelle. There is Bryant going to the locker room. Now remember, he had the hamstring issue throughout training camp, did not play at all during preseason. Keep an eye for when he returns. That's Lucky Whitehead, number 13, who's in motion. Play clock at 1. Yeah. And to the outside again goes Joseph Randall. So kind of just a crazy start. You know, the Giants and the Cowboys have given us so many memories through the years. You don't know what's going to happen. Then you have that long drive, but in a way, at the end of that long drive, kind of a victory for the Giants to hold Dallas to a field goal.
I would agree with that. I think this is one of those games. You're on the road. You've got some people banged up. You're looking to try and hang in there on the road till you get to the fourth quarter, find a way to win it. And for the New York Giants, I think if you ask Tom Coughlin, he said, I'm just fine where we are right now.
2nd down and 7 from the 40-yard line. And that's incomplete. Coverage on Williams. And that'll make it 3rd down.
One of the questions about Joseph Randall was, could he make this block right here against the linebacker? He steps up, Now, I'm not so sure that Waniunga wasn't even in coverage against them on that one, but we'll keep an eye on that throughout the course of the night. Certainly something that DeMarco Murray could do pretty well.
Mosley with the coverage on that one. Rogers Cromartie is back in the game, and it's 3rd down and 7. Play clock at 1. Just do get it off, and then that goes through the hands of Terrence Williams. And it's 4th down.
That was absolutely brilliant by Tony Romo that time. The Giants showed a blitz right over here, and so he checked the protection that way initially, but then knew it was going to come the other way, changed it, pointed the other way, and was absolutely right. A veteran quarterback, sometimes the plays that you never see are the ones that are the most important.
And then right through the hands of Terrence Williams. So Chris Jones, the left-footed punter. Cowboys get their 11th guy on the field at the last minute. And their old friend, one Dwayne Harris, fields at the 7-yard line. There's a flag down, and he gets buried at the 3-yard line. Welcome back home to Dwayne Harris as Kyle Wilbur smashes him. And they'll give him forward progress to the 6, and we'll see about the flag.
Carrying the kick. Holding. Receiving team number 98. Passes it to the goal. Dallas keeps the ball. 1st down. Timeout.
Giants will keep it. Inside the 5. Early in the 2nd. Tied at 3. Of course, he burst onto the national scene with that catch in the Sunday night game last year. Over 100 yards per game in the 12 games that he played. He missed the first 4 with a hamstring pull. 90 or more receiving yards over the final 9 games, and that ties for the longest streak in the history of the NFL. And here he is with his team starting this drive back at the 3-yard line. They put a fullback in the game, Whitlock, and the new running back is Andre Williams in his 2nd season. And they look for some space, and Williams gives him that space with a nice 6-yard plunge up to the 9-yard line.
One of the questions on the outside was Marshall Newhouse taking over at the tackle position. He was a backup for the Cincinnati Bengals. Pretty good run blocker in there. They're going to try and keep things as simple as they can here for this Giants offense in year 2 under Ben McAdoo.
Nice block by Whitlock on Lee as well. Then that pass is out of bounds and incomplete, intended for Randall. Morris Claiborne covering on the play. 3rd down and 4 for the Giants.
I'll tell you, if nothing else, J.J. Wilcox with that big hit on Odell Beckham sent a message to Odell. You want to come over the middle against us, go ahead, but do so at your own risk.
Shane Vereen, one of the new Giants. He, the former Patriot, who caught 11 passes in the Super Bowl last year, flanks Manning on 3rd and 4. And Eli's going to run, and Eli's going to pick up the 1st down and slides to a stop. So the middle opens up, and Manning takes the ball to the 16-yard line.
One of the things you'll see is, yeah, they'll play him straight up man coverage sometimes, but they will roll a safety over the top. So even though it looks like one-on-one, many times it's not. And I'll tell you, we saw Aaron Rodgers do this a bunch today too. Pick up a 1st down when you need it most sometimes. The quarterback run.
Sean Lee missed all of last season. ACL surgery. And a toss to the outside. This is Vereen. And Vereen takes the ball up to the 20-yard line. Shane Vereen, he's in his 5th year. Did yeoman work at New England. And again, those 11 catches last year in the Super Bowl. 52 last year. So a guy that normally will come in on 3rd down, but Tom Coughlin and Ben McAdoo can use him on any downs. And they're proving that right here early on. 2nd down and 6. And Eli stepping up. And then he just slings the ball into the ground. He's outside the pocket. Anthony Hitchens put the heat on him. 3rd down and 6.
We're going to have to keep an eye on Eric Flowers, the rookie left tackle right here. He definitely came out limping on the last one, and that time you could see Mincy go around the edge, and he's pulling that left foot out of the ground. Of course, Will Beatty is the guy he's replacing, and there you go, sort of on the back of the leg with Shane Green on the one prior.
Flowers, their #1 draft choice from the University of Miami. 3rd and 6. Eli over the middle, caught, and then the ball is out. The ball is out. Jason Garrett looking for the call from the official. Byron Jones, the rookie, with Larry Donnell, the tight end. And Garrett going, what are you guys going to call this here?
And what Jason Garrett's saying is you've got to make that call the same. I mean, this is a catch going to the ground, and if he's going to the ground on the catch, of course the Cowboys, the flip side, are going to say that we tackled him to the ground.
And then they run a play before you can have any challenge, even though the Cowboys are now down to their last challenge, and they have challenged it. So the Dallas Cowboys will now be out of challenges.
Dallas has challenged the previous rule on the field.
Whether they win or lose, they are out of challenges with 10:50 to play in the opening half. We think the Cowboys will win this challenge. We think they're going to call this an incomplete pass. We also know that the Cowboys, win or lose this challenge, are out of challenges.
I know for fans it gets awfully frustrating, and especially for Dallas Cowboy fans, but you know how in baseball they say, Al, a tie goes the runner? Well, in football, a tie goes the incomplete. And so we spent a lot of time with the officials in this offseason going over this, and you try and draw bright lines, but there aren't always bright lines to be drawn. As that ball was, as he was going to the ground, when it comes out,
there is a lot of murkiness. To get a 3rd challenge, you have to win your first 2. He's already lost 1.
The ruling on the field is reversed. It's an incomplete pass. The receiver did not maintain control when he initially hit the ground. It'll be 4th down and 6 on the 20-yard line. Dallas not challenged the timeout, but they are out of challenges.
And they're out of challenges with almost 41 minutes left in the game. Not since Mike Martz couldn't wait to get rid of the challenge flag as fast as he could, as a team been out of challenges this early.
But that's essentially a turnover, so you really can't blame Jason for that one, because his team's going to get the ball back. But now you sort of hold your breath for the rest of the game, because if there's an obvious mistake, not much you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it.
Brad Wing, who a couple of weeks ago was in Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
Was the incumbent there and was beaten out for the job with the Steelers. There's Bryant, who comes out of the locker room, and he's back on the sideline. So Wing, who supplants one of the more popular Giants, Steve Weatherford, who was released about 2 weeks ago, sends his first punt as a Giant into the arms of Beasley at the 40-yard line, and the coverage is excellent. Tackled there by J.T. Thomas, and we go to Michelle.
But you said it, Al. Bryant is back on the field, taking the field. He did get an IV for that dehydration, and if you look at his right arm, he's got a sleeve over it. Under that sleeve, you can detect the tape that's covering the spot where the IV was put in. So back in action. All
right, there is Dez, who to this point has caught 1 pass for 12 yards. Romo has started 10 of his first 14, but for only 70 yards. He's averaging 5 yards per pass, so most of the stuff has been short. Now you got Darren McFadden making his Cowboy debut in the backfield, and the former Oakland Raiders' first run as a Cowboy is a good one. Gain of 8. So McFadden oft injured. He was one of the top draft choices when the Raiders secured him 8 seasons ago. Never really lived up to what they had hoped he would be, and then finally he went on the block, and he was picked up by the Dallas Cowboys after they had lost DeMarco Murray to Philadelphia.
And the question about him was, could he stay healthy? He finally did that for 16 games last year, but here's a guy that finished second in the Heisman balloting twice.
Played his college football at Jerry Jones's alma mater, Arkansas. Play clock at 3, 2nd and 2. Tony just gets it off again. And picking up the first down there is McFadden. Up to the 48-yard line, under 10 minutes to play in the opening half.
You know, one of the things as a running back, and we see Le'Veon Bell do this so well, sometimes you just need a little patience. Let those blocks take place up front, and then just sort of ease back into the hole and then explode. A lot of times, guys that have great speed at running back, which certainly McFadden has, you want to take advantage of that. But many times with an offensive line like this, if you give them just another half of a second to make that block and set that edge, you get some big plays out of it.
So Dunbar now in the role of a running back, but he's really in the slot to the left. Empty backfield, caught 45-yard line. And taking a shot is Bryant, taking a shot from behind. Helmet comes loose, and Bryant winds up picking up 9 yards, and it's Dez's helmet.
Now, well, Dez is going to catch a whole bunch tonight if there isn't a little better pass rush coming pretty soon. I mean, this is pretty much what it's looked like all night long. And remember, no Jason Pierre-Paul, but if Tony Romo can stand there like that, and this guy Tyron Smith can take care of Cullen Jenkins like that, it's going to be tough to stop this offense.
Cowboys have run twice as many plays as the Giants. They've had the ball for 16 minutes, and the Giants less than 5. And this is Darren McFadden. And he needed 1 and got a yard and a half. Kennard making the tackle.
And that's a guy they love with the New York Giants. They really think if there's sort of a mystery player on this team that may be able to come up with a few pass rush wrinkles, can athletically make plays, they think that when he takes on blocks that he just stuns people with his hands. So if you're looking for somebody to come out this year and be a star that maybe you weren't anticipating, Kennard might be that guy.
Father Derek was a Cowboy in the mid-90s and has a Super Bowl ring. And that pass is caught by McFadden on the run. McFadden down the sideline, and a first down for Dallas.
Well, you finally got to see the speed here, because he's just going to outrun Unga to the corner. Here he's going to go just across like this, and Unga has the angle, but now you turn on the jets, and that's exactly what Scott Linehan's hoping for, the offensive coordinator. Can we get him in the open field a few times and then get some of those splash plays?
There was Scott Linehan a few years ago, head coach of the Rams. Took over the play calling duties here last season. And cutting it back, gain of 4. Marcus Kuhn making the tackle on McFadden.
You know, when this offensive line gets all together, they are very difficult to manage. Tyron Smith, a couple of Pro Bowls in a row now. Travis Frederick, another first-round draft pick, went to the Pro Bowl. Zach Martin, his first team All-Pro, the first time since like the 40s a rookie had been an All-Pro on that offensive line. So this is a group that you have to do something with. Even Leary and Doug Free are really good run blockers.
2nd and 7. Tony changing up the protection. Clock at 1. Here come the Giants. Romo throws, caught. Bryant gets taken down. About 3 yards shy of the first down. Brandon Merriweather is there, setting up a 3rd down and 3 for Dallas.
Big tackle by Brandon Merriweather, who's wearing big shoes tonight. He is the one that's filling in for all those safeties, Antrell Roll, Bennett Jackson, Mikael Thompson, all those guys they tried and got hurt or traded or whatever. And Merriweather, you'll remember him, some of his hits not so legal. He's paid more than a few fines for helmet-to-helmet contact, but that was a good solid tackle there.
Well into 6 figures compositely. Antrell Roll in Chicago now. 3rd down and 3. Again, they just do get the snap off. And then it's dropped. Dez Bryant turning to look upfield, had the first down, and all of a sudden it's 4th down. It's
pretty amazing. Romo that time pointed out that the slot corner was going to come on a blitz. He is calling these defenses like he's in the huddle. He just needs Dez to catch the football. Pointed right at the blitzer that time, had it completely diagnosed, and they still missed the play, and Tony's hot.
32-yard attempt coming up here for Dan Bailey. So the Cowboys with 158 yards in the first 25 minutes of the game, but only 6 points. 5.5 to go in the half. 6-3 Dallas. Bailey's kickoff results in a touchback, and there is the #1 draft pick of the New York Giants, Flowers.
Yeah, it was fun to talk to Eli Manning. He's really impressed with that rookie. He says, I like my left tackles quiet, mean, and good. That's a compliment for that guy. But they have all these guys in brand new spots, or they're rookies. Flowers is a rookie. Justin Pugh went from right tackle to left guard. Weston Richburg from guard to center. Schwartz came back from the injury and played right tackle, and Marshall Newhouse is new. So for all of them, this is their first game starting in this position for the Giants.
From the 20.
Where's he at?
Play clock at 2 on the snap. Short pass, Randall, and Ruben Randall spins around for a gain of about 5 up to the 25-yard line.
And Ruben Randall's a guy that at one point in his career was trying to figure out this offense, and now is sort of the mentor for a lot of these guys. Unfortunately, his knees are so bad he can practice very little, and so there's not a lot of timing between Eli and Ruben Randall.
He's the #2 receiver. Now, of course, they're still minus Victor Cruz. Cruz inactive tonight. Here's Jennings to the outside, and Jennings puts his shoulder down and takes it to the 30 for a first down. The Giants just waiting for Cruz to come back. You've got Beckham, you've got Cruz, and that's a combo platter they had for only a game and a half last season.
Yeah, you can. I mean, Victor Cruz for a little while there sort of was the Odell Beckham, wasn't he? I mean, he was a guy that got all the attention and so many great plays. So you'd love to see them together, especially now that you add a Shane Vereen as a receiver into that mix as well.
Cruz had knee surgery. We saw him get hurt on that Sunday night in Philadelphia, but it's really a calf injury that's kept him out to this point. From the 30. And Manning will step away, but not out of the grasp of one Tyrone Crawford, who just signed a very large contract in the last couple of days. Fourth-year player out of Boise State. Crawford.
No question, the most important position on Rod Marinelli's defense is that 3 technique right there. It has been Warren Sapp in the past and a lot of great players, and he is the guy that if he can start to generate that kind of pressure the way he plays the rest of the game, look out.
2nd and 13. And a dump off, drop, incomplete. In and out of the hands of Jennings. He wasn't going anywhere anyway. 3rd down and 13. Beckham doesn't have a catch tonight. Eli has completed 3 of 9, 2 of them to the tight end Fells on the first drive, and then 1 to Randall for 5 yards. That's it. Shane Vereen in the game.
Dangerous moment here for the Giants. This offensive line has started to struggle just a little bit now. 3rd down and very long. Eli's going to have to hold it.
And he throws, and that's caught, and that's Vereen, but he'll only get 10 out to the 36-yard line and come up short of the first down.
Randy Gregory, one of the really exciting young players. Somehow, I don't know how the best pass rusher in the draft ended up falling into the 2nd round, but that is going to be a load for Eric Flowers to try and block tonight. That guy has arms that look like they're about 10 feet long. Usually he stabs them right underneath the neck of the offensive lineman and makes that turn.
And Brad Wing. Beasley calls for a fair catch at the 14. Cowboys get the ball. 2:54 remaining in the opening half. 6-3 Cowboys. Dallas now 13-yard line, 2:54 to the half. Lance Dunbar is in the backfield with Romo. Romo will dump it off to the outside, and smothered. Marcus Kuhn is right there to take care of Dunbar. Romo last year with Linehan calling the signals, career low in passes per game. Of course, you had DeMarco Murray to hand off to. Terrific numbers across the board. Everything on that panel led the league. First guy to lead the NFL in passer rating since somebody named Roger Staubach pulled it off 3 times in the 70s, and Mr. Staubach is in the house tonight, as he normally is for Cowboy home games. 2nd and 15.
Here we go, 47. Tacoma wide. Tacoma wide. Tacoma wide.
With 1. Leading that clock down to the very end. And that's caught over the middle by Dunbar. Dunbar breaks a tackle, but can't escape another from Merriweather, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning when it will be 3rd down and 6 at the resumption of play. 1:55 to the half. Dallas up by 3. Third and 6. Dallas has 2 timeouts.
Okay, here we go. Black Mustang, 59 zone, 47 tonight.
Goes at the top, one-on-one, unless they sprint out of this.
Cowboys bleeding the play clock on every play, including after the 2-minute warning, and that is Des Bryant, who got position on Rogers Cromartie, and they convert on a big 3rd and 6 up to the 35-yard line. Gain of 18.
Great job by Jason Witten, recognizing the slot blitz, jumped inside to pick it up and gave that play a chance.
Romo a little bit behind Williams, but he reaches back, makes the catch, picks up 7. Amukamara makes the tackle. 1:20 to go in the half. Second down, short 3. Advancing. Beasley makes the catch, cuts it back upfield, and then loses the ball at the end of the play. And Rogers Cromartie gets by Romo and goes all the way to the end zone. So Beasley, who looked for all the world as if he was going to go out of bounds, turns it back upfield and loses the ball.
Great route here by Beasley, but then it is going to be McBride who, after getting beat there, returns and strips the ball out, and Dominic Rogers Cromartie picked it up, and that looks like a fumble and a touchdown, and oh my goodness, what a turn of events.
And that should stand. No challenges in the last 2 minutes. The Cowboys don't have one anyway, but all turnovers are reviewed, so this is being looked at in New York.
I mean, this has been one unbelievable half for the New York Giants. They are just hanging in there. They're scrappy. They've attacked with their no-huddle offense. The Cowboys have sort of played a slow pace.
A fumble and return for a touchdown has been confirmed.
So a gigantic break for the New York Giants, who've had the ball for only 7.5 minutes in the entire half.
They're moving the ball up and down the field. They're making mistakes. They're not converting. And they're behind going in at the half. The Cowboys had to feel like they had a huge advantage coming into this game with the injuries that the Giants had.
So now the new extra point snapped from the 15, the equivalent of a 33-yard field goal, and that is good. And with 56 seconds remaining in the half, the Giants have the lead, 10-6. Wild and wacky here, and there's Romo, and well, runs by him pretty easily.
Little wobble on that knee. I mean, this game has just been crazy. 202 yards for the Cowboys, 66 for the Giants, and the Giants lead.
That's 6 career touchdowns for Rogers Cromartie. Statistical update, and as you can see, the time of possession completely one-sided. The plays, in fact, 2-1. The Cowboys have run 36. The Giants have run only 18. But it's all about the scoreboard, and it's thanks to the turnover. The run back, Rogers Cromartie, with 5 previous touchdowns with Arizona and Denver, came over here last year. And McBride made the play by stripping it, and DRC off to the end zone. Now the Cowboys, 2 timeouts. Start from the 20. Romo flushed out, and then Witten has it intercepted off his hand and picked off by Unga. Flag is thrown. There comes another one at the end of the play. So back-to-back turnovers. Pass behind Jason Witten, couldn't handle it, and Unga's right there. And the crowd is stunned.
Me too. Me too. I mean, that is your most veteran player right there, Jason Witten, and your veteran quarterback.
Interception. After the interception and after the play was over. Personal foul. Intercepting team number 99. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. New York keeps the ball. First down.
That penalty is on Cullen Jenkins.
Jason Witten basically just chipping here on the end of the line of scrimmage. Gets his shot. Now going to turn out on the play. Tony does not read it. Witten gets just enough of the ball to set up the interception, the easy interception for Unga. I mean, this is about as sleepy and as bad a start as the Cowboys had to open last year here against the 49ers.
Right. Romo was picked off 3 times that day. Meanwhile, the Giants have the ball, and they're going to get the ball to start the second half. Manning. And it's a gain of about 7. A gang tackle is made there on Larry Donnell. The ball to the 29. The Giants have 3 timeouts.
Right there, you're going to see Cullen Jenkins at the very tail end of the play after the interception had already been made, and the sidelines are going, I'm begging you, don't do that. We got a chance to beat the Cowboys on the road. Don't do that.
Second and 2 after the catch by Donnell. The Giants have taken their first timeout. 39 seconds left.
Here's where you may start looking for Vereen a little bit here. He's a guy that can make some plays with a catch and run in this kind of a situation. Eli with a very subtle signal to his wideouts.
Vereen stays in the block. This will be a first down. Seeking the sideline is Larry Donnell. So he gets the first and stops the clock with 34 seconds.
Yeah, a little break action on that signal was the old Green Bay Packers play where the wideouts just simply block downfield and you dump it quickly to the tight end.
Cowboys shifting along the front. 4-man rush. Short gain, out of bounds. Beckham, his first catch. Carr covering him as he has been all night. It'll be second down.
Yeah, one of the problems that the Giants are going to have tonight, until they can start establishing a little bit better running game, the Cowboys are going to leave those 2 safeties in the middle of the field. If they can stop it with 7 guys or 6 guys, depending on the front, you're just going to leave your safeties back here in the back end and play the run up there, and that takes away some of the opportunities for Beckham.
Spread it out 3 by 1 to the left side. Second down and 7. Manning, then there's a flag before the snap. Gregory came across the line.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
He was drawn off by Eric Flowers, the left tackle.
Yeah, right here you're going to see a little movement, and that's what happens sometimes. Randy Gregory got him on that last pass rush, and he knows about his speed, so you try and get out there a little bit quicker and you flinch.
Second and 12. Beckham this time in the slot on the left side. Eli looks that way and then throws the pass, and it was deflected, so it'll be third down.
One thing you're seeing already, though, is that Randy Gregory is getting some attention, or they're a bit concerned about Eric Flowers and maybe whatever he hurt on that play. They're leaving that tight end on the left-hand side now to try and force a little wider edge, so Randy Gregory can't get after Eric Flowers.
Beckham wide left, Randall wide right, third down and 12. And the pass is incomplete, intended for Preston Parker. And that'll bring in the field goal unit to try to make it a 7-point game.
That's good news for Cowboys fans right there. Tyler Patman right there is the cornerback that has maybe the biggest job on this team this year, replacing Orlando Scandrick, who was their MVP defensively a season ago. I think he has some of the similar skill sets that Scandrick has, but you still have to prove it on the field.
Josh Brown, 40-yard attempt. The holders wing the punter, and the kick is good with 14 seconds to play. Well, we've seen some really wacky first halves in our 10 years of Sunday Night Football. This is going to go right up there with it, too. I mean, how often does a team have the ball for less than 8 minutes and a half and probably go into the locker room with a lead?
You know, the interesting part of this game is that generally, if you think you have the better team, and of course the Cowboys are a little healthier and they're playing at home, so they had to feel pretty good about coming in there. Usually that team wants to run more plays. And what we've seen tonight is the Cowboys are kind of slowing things down, which is the way they play.
Right.
And the Giants, instead of being passive because of the injuries, they're going after it very quickly, and it's worked to their favor.
Yeah, the Cowboys last year second in the league in time of possession, second only to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they took more time between plays, over 30 seconds per play.
Now, it's easy to say it's working for them, but you look at the yardage, and it's the complete opposite. The Cowboys just have to stop making so many mistakes.
Jerry Reese, the longtime GM of the New York Giants. A couple of Super Bowl rings during his tenure, but a little bit of heat, no question, on he and on Tom Coughlin after 3 straight seasons of not getting to the playoffs, and the Giants with back-to-back losing seasons, and that hadn't happened in a while. There's a bouncing ball collected at the 26-yard line by Tyler Patman. And with 10 seconds left, Cowboys will have the ball at the 34-yard line.
Great first half for Steve Spagnuolo coming back to the Giants. Of course, part of those teams that won a world championship here in New York, and they bring him back, and he was concerned. He knew he had some issues on guys being hurt and young guys in key communication places, and now the Cowboys just going to take a knee.
Yeah. Get back to the locker room is what the Cowboys just want to do at this point. Regroup. The Giants will receive the second half kickoff, and after the opening half on opening night at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, 13-6. Second half underway with a touchback. Giants at the 20. We go to Michelle.
Well, I spoke to Tom Coughlin at halftime. He was adamant that those back-to-back turnovers were earned. Luck had no part of it. But he also says he wants to see a better mix of run-pass on offense. Now, Jason Garrett was surprisingly positive, looking at the good things that happened in the first half. But he said, absolutely, we have got to finish drives. Al?
All right, thank you, Michelle. That run pass for the Giants is 16 pass plays and only 7 runs. And they start with Andre Williams at running back.
118. What is it?
Fake it to him. End around. Coming back is the former Cowboy Harris, and he picks up a first down. So the special teams maven, run back specialist Gunner, winds up playing offense here and picking up a first down.
I like that play call coming out. You go a heavy run formation with tight ends, and it looks like you're just going to try and play some power football with your big back in there, and then they hit him with that reverse.
Gain of 11.
Here it comes. Where we go?
Williams shifts over. Quick toss, Beckham, and he will get taken out of bounds by J.J. Wilcox.
Well, they're just going to keep moving safeties in this direction. Clearly, they're not going to allow J.J. Wilcox to cover him one-on-one in any way, shape, or form. And even though Eli has been in a no-huddle sort of a mode, you know, he's been fairly calm with it. He's taken a good long look at this defense. It's not anything complex. There's nothing really amazing about it. They just slowly, methodically now are starting to take advantage of what Eli's seeing.
Williams had a stellar career at Boston College, led the nation in rushing, tackled by Crawford, setting up a third down.
All right, let's take a look here. The new multi-million-dollar man, Tyrone Crawford's going to just chase that one down from the backside. And the other thing that he does such a great job of is protecting that will linebacker that is now Sean Lee. They don't want Sean Lee getting all the hits that he has in the past.
3rd and 7.
Hey, go 31.
Vereen in on 3rd down. Pressure. Manning gets away, throws, caught Randall, and he is out of bounds at the 48-yard line. He may have been across the line, and Eli was moving forward. If they don't call it on the field, there's no way the Cowboys can challenge it.
And remember, even if the back foot were behind it, if that back foot was on that line or anywhere close to that line of scrimmage, that should be completed
and
pass.
There is a flag down. The line of scrimmage was the 34. Yeah, we saw that in Philadelphia a few years ago. That back foot was just barely on the line. There's the red line.
No, that's a legal throw.
Mm-hmm.
If that red line
There's
is
no foul
accurate,
on the
which I
play.
think it is.
Result of the play is the first down.
Nice job by Eli knowing exactly what he's doing. That was a big first down. And, you know, this is usually a crazy kind of a crowd, especially on opening night. And there just has been nothing for them to cheer about.
Manning on that last play, escaping the grasp. One of the Cowboys had him by the shirt for a moment. First down, inside draw goes to Shane Vereen, and he takes it to the 47-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
One of the things about playing the will linebacker position is that Sean Lee generally will be unblocked. You expect that, as they call them, the 3 technique in front of them, to take those blocks and allow that position to run sideline to sideline. Think Derek Brooks in the old days with Tampa Bay.
Manning, it's caught, and that's going to be another first down. And riding his way to the 36-yard line is Daniel Fells before he's tackled by Brandon Carr.
Starting to remind me a little bit of Tom Brady here. As long as you're going to play your safeties all the way deep like this, they're just going to take some of these little dump routes and quick throws and just be patient. And Eli's doing a nice job of it, not holding the ball.
Opening drive of the second half at the 36.
Easy. Hey, jam, 59. Come. Jam. Alpha.
To the outside. Oh, he almost did it again. Odell Beckham one-handed, but not this time. Wilcox on the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Good job by Eli Manning that time. He knew the slot blitz was coming, pointed right at it, over here to the side, and gave his guy a one-on-one shot. Just missed the throw. Odell probably considers that a drop for him.
Yeah. Four-man rush, quick throw, slant over the middle, first down. Caught by Beckham. Takes the ball to the 20-yard line.
They jump outside because they've got a middle linebacker here in this area that they think is going to secure that. So they basically bait you into throwing it inside. But Eli just made too good a throw.
No huddle, quickly to the line. Picking up 3 yards here is Andre Williams. Tackle there by Hitchens.
Andre Williams, they call him the hammer. They said he runs over our guys, their guys. It doesn't make any difference. And they thought maybe would have gotten a little more out of him. Then Jennings fumbled that one early on. He's getting a bit more of an opportunity.
2nd and 7. 10th play of the drive. 4 rushes, 5 passes to this point. Fake the draw. Pass caught. And it's about 2 yards shy of the first down. Donnell tackled there by Lee.
We were talking about how it has been a tough night for the Giants pass rushers, but right now the Cowboys pass rushers starting to lean on them a bit. They finally get a late line change in there, Al, and now they're going to try and get some fresh bodies.
Giants stacking receivers in the slot, then they break that. Here comes Beckham to this side. Cowboys nearly jump. Manning throws, and that's incomplete. Preston Parker, the intended receiver. So they're able to stay onside, force a 4th down, and a Giant field goal attempt.
Once again, Tyler Patman, the man on the spot, and that was where Orlando Scandrick had been. Good enough that time for Patman, who's been challenged in this one.
30-yard field goal attempt here for Josh Brown. Brad Wing, a couple of weeks ago with Pittsburgh, is the holder. And the kick is good. So the 30-yard field goal successful. 9:48 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And the Giants on the road are up by 10. The Cowboys down by 10. Back after this. Beginning in 2011, Dallas made a concerted effort to revamp that offensive line. So you've got Smith, Martin, Frederick, 24, 24, and 23. First team to send 3 offensive linemen under the age of 25 to the Pro Bowl in the history of the NFL. And those are the guys entrusted with protecting one. Tony Romo, who's been protected well tonight, as you can see. However,
how do they have 6 points?
Right. Well,
I mean, the Giants defense have matched them. They've got 6 points on their side.
2 huge turnovers, leading to a 10-point Giant lead out of the outside. And a good tackle is made there. Joseph Randall. That's Hankins getting a hand on his ankle.
The protection's been there. Tyron Smith, one of the really outstanding offensive linemen. They leave him on the island, as they say over there, slide the protection the other way. He's able to handle his guy in a one-on-one pass rush situation. He doesn't just sit there and wait on it either. He goes out and attacks them. He is some player, and they talk about his hands. When he gets those big hands on you, usually you're not going too far after that.
2nd and 8. Cowboys with the ball for the first time in the 2nd half. Randall. And he gets taken down 2 yards short of the first down by Unga.
I mean, there are big hands in the National Football League. Odell Beckham has big hands, but these are really big hands. It looks like a Nerf ball in his hand, doesn't it?
It does.
He's going to pop it or something. He's some player. He really is. That whole bunch up front. It's good to have Zach Martin back for him as well. He had a stinger. They had to be careful with him over there at the right guard position.
3rd and 1 up at the 29-yard line. Romo rolls and throws and converts as Randall makes the catch. Big gain down the sideline. Rodgers, Cromartie forced him out of bounds after a pickup of 26 yards.
Looked like Odell Beckham on that one. That was some play for a huge third down. Watch Randall turn around and just one-hand that thing and sprint on down the sideline. Not a great throw by Romo, and Joseph Randall just made that look casual. That was a big, big play in the game.
At the New York 46. Tony, one of the rare times under center tonight. Randall again to the outside and comes close to picking up the first down. J.T. Thomas, 55, made the stop.
Well, you're seeing the same sort of coverage out here that you're seeing on Odell Beckham on the other side. They don't want Dez Bryant to be the one that beats him. Have that chaser underneath and Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. So as long as you're going to commit two to somebody, and that's the key to being a great player. In this case, Dez Bryant. Can you force the defense to commit two to stop you, and that creates one-on-one openings for your other guys, in this case, Joseph Randall.
That was a gain of 11, first down at the 35-yard line.
Kill! 57! What is that?
Working the edge again. Randall. Joseph Randall takes the ball to the 30-yard line. He has done the bulk of the ball carrying tonight. We've seen McFadden carry only 4 times. Randall's carried for 53 yards on a dozen totes.
Yeah, and I think for Joseph Randall, he had to be a little nervous, wouldn't you think, coming into this game? I know everybody was talking about the same thing. Could they possibly replace DeMarco Murray? Comes out and he lays one on the ground early, but it seems like now he's sort of settled into this game a bit.
Yeah, he was definitely nervous on his second carry of the night. Dropped it and somehow recovered it. Now they go 5 wide. And Romo throws underneath again. And to the 24-yard line goes Lance Dunbar. And that's a first down.
Now Lance Dunbar, we were talking with Tony Romo, and he says he's the Darren Sproles of our team. He's a guy that can come in. Of course, Randall looked pretty good catching the ball as well. But now they're running through these backs. We've seen all three now, McFadden and Randall and now Dunbar in some of these pass situations. More and more as it looks like the backs are going to be the option. Maybe they're going to get Dunbar in the game more.
Randall in there here, setting up deep.
Hurry up! Get set, hurry up!
Williams sets on the right side. There goes Randall to the right side. And Randall takes the ball for a gain of 5. Gets to the 19-yard line.
Boy, there were some blocks on that one, wasn't there? Start with Jason Witten on the outside. He's the one that establishes that edge. Then they bring the whole backside to center. Travis Frederick and Ronald Leary around there. They had that one cold. Like the old Green Bay Packers pulling those linemen out in front.
Randall lost his shoe, so McFadden comes into the game on 2nd down and 5 from the 19. Play of the drive. Here goes McFadden trying to turn the corner. Cannot shove that about, setting up a 3rd down. And short as McBride is there to make the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
I know we're not supposed to be listening in, but I assume everybody at home could hear the kill, 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 right?
You think?
And all that means is that in this silent stadium when they're on offense is that they've got probably either a run play to the right, a run play to the left, and they kill the one to the right, or they've got a pass play and a run. And so it's the pass play that's called with the option to kill to the run play.
You ever heard Omaha?
Omaha. I got in trouble for that one too.
Yeah, tonight we heard Tacoma at one point. 3rd and 4. Tony taking everything down to the nub on the play clock. Steps up, goes deep and incomplete. Tight coverage. You got a flag down though at the 2-yard line. Rodgers-Cromartie covering Terrence Williams. Flag at the 2.
I thought the end of it was pretty good, allowed to go for
Pass
the ball.
interference.
Let's see if he hooked
Defense
it.
number 41. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
You're certainly allowed to go for the ball at the end of this. Let's see right here whether or not he hooks him around the hip right before he jumps. Ooh, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, real tough.
You're absolutely allowed to go up for the ball, and any contact there, unless there was something that happened before I could see anything there, that's not good.
Ask any Giant fan right now.
Wow.
How do you call that? DRC wants to know as well. So that's spots the ball at the 2-yard line. Cowboys have 3 tight ends in. And they come up on a 1st and goal. They've got Tyler Clutch in the game. He's their fullback, 44. Randall is the tailback. Fake. Tony caught back of the end zone. Gavin Escobar. Touchdown Dallas.
It's not often you say an offensive line scored a touchdown. Clearly here, that's what this was. The Giants had this completely covered. And only the fact that they had enough time for Escobar to come all the way across the formation was the only thing that made that play. And the only thing that even made Romo throw it then was his back. Joseph Randall couldn't handle the block on the outside. Nice job by Escobar. Good clean catch. Huge play, and a questionable pass interference call led to it.
Number 2 tight end. Now the new extra point. We missed 4 around the league today, and that one is good. So 4:01 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the Giants lead has been shaved to 3. As the kickoff goes through the end zone. They're ubiquitous. 16-13 New York.
Well, for Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, he's sitting over there going, did I really foul him? He was talking to the official afterwards. The official saying you grabbed him on the shoulder. For that to be a foul, you would be able to see that shoulder pull back. You're allowed to touch the shoulder, you just can't pull it back. And I don't think Williams ever felt the effect of anything. That's just sort of the normal touching of playing that he's shaking his hand. I've got to agree with him. I didn't see enough for a foul there. Of course, the referee had the other angle, so give him a little bit, but ordinarily you'd see that right shoulder pull back if there were a foul.
In basketball, no harm, no foul on a play like that. It was a 3rd and 4. It would have set up a field goal. Instead, the 1st and goal sets up a touchdown, makes it a 3-point game. Manning rolling, throwing on the run, and that's incomplete, intended for Beckham. 2nd down and 10.
Pretty good job that time with Tyler Patman coming out in a zone defense this time and sitting underneath there. Gets just enough width to where Eli had to throw it wide or risk an interception. The underneath coverage that time, the difference.
Giants go no huddle on 2nd down and 10. Jennings and Fells both in the backfield with Manning. First time they come up with that formation tonight, and a great tackle made by Sean Lee in his first game since 2013. Knifes through, takes him down, and Randy Gregory is down for Dallas. He's on the turf.
He sacrificed his body for that one. He went hard on the stunt inside, and there's the speed of Sean Lee. Welcome back, Sean Lee, making yet another play in the backfield. That position is going to fit him nicely.
They work on the rookie Gregory. 3rd and 13 for the Giants when we come back. It's 3rd down and 13 from the 17-yard line. A dump off to Vereen, and Vereen comes very close to picking up the first down a little bit short. They're going to spot him just shy of the 30-yard line. Jeff Schwartz providing the convoy, and then the Giants on 4th down have to send in the punting group.
Randy Gregory right here just has that leg buckle underneath him, and you don't want to see it too many times, trust me. That's tough. He's played really well tonight.
So 4th and inches. And Brad Wing sends one up just underneath the big board, and a fair catch is called for, but then Beasley gets run into by a couple of his own guys, and that's going to cost him about 20 yards back to the 9-yard line. Calling for a fair catch, got bumped into, and now the Cowboys wind up starting at their own 9-yard line. Jason Garrett took over for Wade Phillips in the middle of the 2010 season. Some questions as to, would he last? And of course, last year they had the great year at 12-4. The recipient of a brand new contract, and already now shows you how fast time goes. The 9th most tenured coach with the same team in the NFL.
Yeah, and they had a big organizational decision to make, didn't they, with Greg Hardy and Jerry Jones? It was Jason who was telling us. I met with him for 4 hours, and I said, listen, Greg, this is not a recruiting trip. I got to know it all. I got to know what I'm getting into here. And he said he laid it out, was apologetic, and they made the decision to sign him to the team, and we'll see eventually how it works out.
They get him back in their 5th game of the season. He originally was out for 10. That got reduced to 4. And up to the 13-yard line on 1st down goes Joseph Randall with a little over 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
One of the things that Jason Garrett from day one preached to this team is, last year before the season, nobody thought we were any good. And then we went out and proved that we were. And then you come back this season, now everybody's telling you guys how good you are, and it doesn't matter. You got to go out and have the same sort of proof with what you're doing on the field, and so far in this one they're struggling.
2nd and 6. Randall again. Garrett's philosophy basically was, hey, we're not building on what we did last year. We're starting from scratch. Every year's a brand new year. Forget about what you did last year. All that matters now is 2015.
But he was definitely worried, wasn't he, about the running back situation, and whether or not it really was DeMarco Murray. And DeMarco's a little bit bigger guy than some of these guys they've got running the football. And in the 4th quarter, his strength could kind of wear you down a little bit behind this offensive line. We'll see if that happens with the running backs they have now.
3rd down and 5 from the 13-yard line. Well, not being able to make that fair catch cost them 22 yards.
Well, and it changes your aggressiveness on offense backed up.
No doubt. Romo to the outside. That's caught, and that will move the change as Terrence Williams makes the grab. Had to come back toward the sideline. 1st down, Dallas.
Tyron Smith just enough here to get Ayers to run by Romo as he stepped up. But once again, the protection in front of Tony Romo is allowing him to do whatever he wants in the pocket moving forward. Just that time and the ability to run the football is the difference right now. The Giants doing pretty well. I tell you, these corners have played a good game on the back end in there, and it's not just the starters. Tremaine McBride's done a nice job too, coming in as the nickel.
Through the middle, Joseph Randall. Bernardo is in the game. You saw Leary on the sideline, change up front, and that's going to take us to the final quarter. So it's the end of 3 at Arlington, Texas on opening night at AT&T Stadium. 16-13. New York. Sunday Night Football back after this. At AT&T Stadium as we start the 4th quarter. 2nd down and 8 for the Cowboys from the 22-yard line, and that pass over the middle intended for Beasley is incomplete. 3rd and 8.
Well, here you've got your receiving running back. Lance Dunbar is going to have to pick up the blitz. I'm sure they wanted to challenge him when he got in the game. But Al, one of the big differences in this game is in order to stop the run now, the Giants are committing extra people up front. But it means they're having to play one-on-one coverage with a free safety in the middle of the field. But at least thus far, the Cowboys have not been able to take advantage of this. Now they drop 2 safeties back.
Yeah, Bryant, for example, 4 catches for just 43 yards. And Romo's averaging only about 6.5 yards per pass, which would be less than the league average. Tony, that shoulder shake, then throws, and there's Bryant making the catch, but he gets taken down. Ball came out, but he was down at that point anyway. Mukamara making the tackle, but not enough for the first down.
It's huge. I mean, really, the one chance I thought that the Giants had in this game was if these 2 corners could match up on these receivers one-on-one. Here you go. Mukamara right there against one of the best in the business, and Des Bryant. 3rd down about 8. He holds them underneath that. But that is the way you have to win in this game because they can run the ball so effectively. You commit the extra guy there. Your corners have to hold up, and they have. The Giants have played well in the back end.
Handled the pressure all night long. Jones's punt is a booming kick. Scooped up, dropped, picked up again. Harris, and he'll get taken down at the 23-yard line. Former Cowboy. Let's go to Michelle.
3 quick injury updates. Dallas starting left guard Ronald Leary has a groin injury. He may return. Rookie defensive end Randy Gregory is being evaluated in the locker room for a sprained ankle. And Giants defensive tackle Marcus Kuhn is questionable with a knee sprain, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So the Giants right now up at the 23-yard line to begin this drive 1 minute into the 4th quarter.
Boy, this is one of those moments in the game. You're on the road. You would love to put together about a 10-12 play drive here and eat as much of this clock as you can.
180. What's that?
Running back is Andre Williams. 28-yard line. Manning and Romo, this is the 16th time they've matched up in a regular season game. The numbers tonight: 31 attempts, 204 yards for Romo, so most of the stuff has been short. Of course, the big difference in this game are those 2 turnovers at the end of the first half, which led to 10 Giants points. 2nd and 6. To the outside to Randall, and they smother him at the 30-yard line. Patman and others in on the stop. That's going to make it 3rd down and 3.
Tell you, Rod Marinelli's bunch, you will see them hustle down the field in a way that I just don't see other teams do. They preach hustle. They teach hustle. They coach it. If you don't get hustle right, they don't go on to anything else.
Ben McAdoo in his 2nd year as the Giants offensive coordinator. Let's see what he has dialed up.
You want to challenge the rookie Byron Jones at the bottom of the screen.
Manning looking the other way. Throws, caught, 1st down. That is Preston Parker. So Parker coming into the game as the number 3 Giants receiver. Big 1st down on a 3rd and 3.
Good enough on the little rub play. We saw it on Thursday night enough, and we're seeing it again.
50-50.
As that clock keeps ticking for Eli and the Giants.
He's moving. Go to 59. Taco.
That's caught. Parker again. Back-to-back grabs. That's a gain of 8 before he's taken down by Patman. 2nd down and 2.
One of the problems, watch Beckham just come off and block here. This is a pass play in which he doesn't even turn his head. They just get the ball quickly to the other wide receiver, Preston Parker, and he's a blocker out in front.
I'm 59. Hey, stand it. Go to 50. 50. Hard.
Fake to Vereen, and then it's just thrown away. Thrown into the Cowboys bench. Nothing open right there, so it'll be 3rd down and 2.
One of the things that Skandrick always did such a good job of is exactly what Tyler Patman right here is going to do here on these quick screens with the blocker in front. Sometimes you just have to muscle your way through. Scared Eli a little bit. He was so close to the ball, and Eli threw it away.
Every third down now becomes big. They already converted once on this drive. Third and a deuce. Toss to Vereen. Has to come back the other way. There was nothing happening to the right, so he comes back to the left. Manning helps lead the way with a block. First down, Giants.
That was your big money guys blocking out in front. Eli Manning with a good block, and down the field Odell Beckham got one as well. You saw it coming all the way back across. Good job by Vereen. He figured out that there was nothing on that side. Here comes devastating Eli Manning. Guess that could be a new commercial. Then on the outside, Odell Beckham holding his own just long enough.
Took Mincy out of the play at the Cowboy 40. First down, New York. That buys time, and the pass is too high, incomplete. Intended for Ruben Randall to be second down and 10.
It's hard to tell if some of these balls are Eli's just not comfortable with the position he has, or if they're just getting away from him. We've talked about it. It's warm in here. They closed the roof, and it's definitely warm, and he's had a few of these balls just get away from him. I think that ball just sailed on him.
You don't think they're overinflated, do you?
Not a chance.
Second and 10. No action along both lines, but no flag. Everybody resets on second and 10. Draw. And it's only a 2-yard gain here for Andre Williams. So once again, now you have your third down on this drive.
Here's the old Sean Lee we used to watch right here coming up. Watch him take on the block this time and come off and make the play. Larry Donnell came around, and he was no match for Sean Lee, who's waited about a year and a half to play any football.
Big play on both ends here. The Giants are not yet in field goal range unless you want to try a 57-yarder. Third and 8. And Manning throwing in the pass incomplete. Parker had to stop. Pass underthrown. Patman is there. No flag. Fourth down.
It's a good throw. I couldn't tell if Patman got a hand on it or not, but this is the second big third down play. I think he just dropped it. That is the second one he's dropped with a chance to keep drives alive. Huge.
Well, floating at the end is.
But really perfectly thrown. I mean, you could tell he was trying to throw a sort of let him stop and come back to the ball.
Here's Wing. Fair catch called for by Beasley, and he makes it at the 12-yard line. 9:46 left in regulation in a 3-point game. Darren McFadden is the running back. Cowboys start from the 12. Off the fake, one more time over the middle. Witten initially stayed into block, then catches the pass at the 17.
Well, the center of attention tonight has been Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Made a big play early on and knocked down a potential touchdown pass after the strip. He casually picked up that one and ran that one back in for a touchdown. And then the call of the night right here, pass interference. You can see what the official saw, the hand on the right shoulder. If there is a turn of that shoulder, it is supposed to be a foul. Was there enough? Was there not? That'll be the discussion for tomorrow for everybody.
Second down and 4. Bryant is on the bench for the moment. And stuffed in the backfield.
Welcome, rookie.
Darren McFadden. That was Landon Collins. He's their number 2 pick, rookie out of Alabama. The safety comes up.
Whoa. Landon Collins going to come right off the edge there, number 21, and there was no way Lucky Whitehead was going to get him. He's a big guy. He's about 220 pounds, and the question was, could he play the center field position? And there's another question for you right there.
We're getting his ankle tape. shoe off is Bryant. Devin Street is in his place, number 15. Cowboys go 3-by-1 to the left side.
47 or 54? 47 or 54.
3rd and 6. And that's caught, and then the ball is loose, and it's taken out of the air. And running to the end zone is McBride for the touchdown. And Romo is down. So Bryant out. Merriweather provided the pop on Devin Street, who's the guy who took Bryant's spot, and McBride takes it into the end zone.
Devin Street's going to come in here and watch Merriweather. Here's the guy that's been fined for all those helmet-to-helmet hits. He's learned how to tackle. He got his helmet right on the ball that time. And what a huge night for the New York Giants on the defensive side. Welcome, Steve Spagnuolo. Your guys are winning the football game.
And what about McBride, who missed most of last season? He was injured. There goes the block on Romo to send him to the turf. McBride created the fumble at the end of the first half on the catch by Beasley. And then the play here, picks it out of the air and puts the Giants up on top, going on 10 after the extra point.
And in case you're wondering, you can hit the quarterback like that as long as he is chasing the play.
Timeout.
If he stays in one position, you cannot.
Play is under review. All scoring plays are. We're going to go to Bill Vinovich to see whether he got into the end zone or not.
After reviewing the play, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. Please put 8 minutes and 9 seconds on the game clock.
All right, now can the Cowboys take advantage of that break as we take another look at McBride going out of bounds at the 1-yard line? Can the Cowboys take advantage with a goal line stand? Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-possession game.
Well, if there's anybody that's never going to assume 1 yard, it's Al Michaels and myself.
How about today with Seattle?
I know.
What a night for McBride. And Tom Coughlin has watched his team come in here. Pretty big underdog. But those 3 turnovers have been gigantic. Jennings is the back. Nikita Whitlock is the fullback. 1st and goal. And Jennings, can he get in? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Touchdown now. Line judge comes in, so Jennings gets into the end zone. And now we're back to what will be a 10-point game if the extra point is good. Meanwhile, Romo blocked out of that last play by DeMontre Moore.
The center right there, Weston Richburg, was the one that had the tough block on that play, just strictly one-on-one, held his own, and just enough for Jennings, the old vet, to get in there. This is about as strange a game as I can remember seeing in a while.
Well, you got the 3 turnovers. Not the whole thing. The Cowboys have just shot themselves in the foot. And the Giants have taken advantage of it. Brown for the point after. And with 8:01 remaining in regulation, back to a 10-point lead. 23-13 New York Football Giants. Here's Dunbar. And Dunbar staying on his feet and brings it out to the 24-yard line. Turnover is the big story, Chris.
This is the story, no question about it. 17 of the points in this game have come directly from the turnovers. This one, of course, was a touchdown. Then you end up with the ball thrown behind Witten. That one led to a field goal. And then this, once again, receiver had the hands on the ball, and it turned down to the 1-yard line and the next touchdown. So really pure offensive points tonight by the Giants. I would make that calculation around 6.
That's why you went to Florida, right?
That was a lot of pressure.
from the 24-yard line. First down for the Dallas Cowboys. Bryant is still on the bench. We start this drive with Witten making the catch to the 39. We go to Michelle.
Well, actually, Des Bryant went back to the locker room. He's being evaluated for a foot injury. You can see him hobbling off here, really favoring that right foot. Before that, athletic trainers had spatted his right shoe. He was still uncomfortable. They did a heavy job under the shoe, still shook his head no, so now he's being evaluated in the locker room.
All right, Michelle, of course, he had that hamstring that kept him out of all of the preseason action. Earlier tonight, he needed an IV. Now the pass is caught here by Williams, and Terrence Williams takes the ball to the 44-yard line. So we'll have to do it without Des Bryant. And Williams takes the ball for a gain of 17 to the 44.
Yeah, and if there's any good news about the fact that Des didn't play in the preseason, Tony said he got a lot more comfortable with his guys that are playing outside receiver in the game right now.
Hey, Black Mustang. Hey, 47. Black Mustang. Come on closer.
Under 7 minutes to go in regulation. And that is caught. That's Beasley. And Beasley picks up 7 yards, making it 2nd down and 3.
Now, once again, Tony Romo saw this blitz coming, and you're going to see Jason Witten. He gave him the signal. Come back in here. You see the slot blitz coming off the edge, and Witten right there to pick it up for a nice little gain.
At the 38.
47, drive on. 180. 47.
Good clean pocket. Wide open. Williams again. First down at the 18-yard line. Terrence Williams.
Nice job once again. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie not wanting to give up the boundary. Will give some of those in cuts. And we have seen Tony Romo during the course of this preseason get more and more comfortable with Williams, as he did in the playoffs last year when he caught 3 touchdowns in 2 playoff games.
Under 6 to play. Giant show blitz. They're coming. Pass caught on the outside. Beasley spins around. Beasley picks up the first down and almost gets to the end zone. Cole Beasley tackled at the 1, 1st and goal.
Steve Spagnuolo has a tendency to start bringing this pressure as you get closer down to the goal line. And Cole Beasley's a guy also at the end of last year started really coming up big. He's a guy that, like Julian Edelman, very difficult to cover in those one-on-one kind of situations. That's where Romo's looking now.
And the right formation that time. Good protection, extra protection. Tackle broken from McBride by Beasley, setting up a 1st and goal. Witten sets up in the slot left. And the pass to the outside is caught by Witten for a touchdown. So the Dallas Cowboys, after a near disaster going down by 10, that didn't take long. Started at their own 24. Run 6 plays, takes less than 3 minutes. And on the verge right now of a 3-point game.
Not many mental breakdowns so far, but watch Landon Collins here. Just late to react to Jason Witten. He's got him in man coverage. You just have no chance from there.
Bailey in for the extra point. And we're back to a 3-point game. Set up for a wild finish on opening weekend. Crazy game in Arlington, Texas. 23-20 Giants. Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones. They have been through the ringer since buying this team in 1989. Some of the most dramatic wins and some of the most wrenching losses.
You know, and in this stadium, you'd think they'd be almost unbeatable, and it really has not been the case.
Not at all. Last year they were 4-4 here, 8-0 on the road during the regular season. Two games last year against the Giants, against the Cowboys, And of course, the phenomenal catch that we all remember, 4 touchdowns. So he comes in here tonight against this Cowboy defense minus Orlando Scandrick. And just 3 catches, minimal damage. Giants now from the 20. Heading down the stretch, each team with all of its timeouts remaining. Eli. Slow developing play. Then Vereen breaks a tackle, turns a 2-yard loss into a 5-yard gain. 2nd down and 5.
Boy, that little 5-yard gain may be really important in this game. It looked like Vereen was stuck and Barry Church just could not hold on, but it allows Eli the option now to stay with something safe, run the football, possibly a nice safe pass, because you need probably about 3 first downs to seal this thing.
Jennings, the running back, and the fullback Whitlock in the game. It took Henry Hanoski's place during preseason. And a 3-yard gain here for Jennings, setting up a big 3rd and 2. Meanwhile, Odell Beckham picked up the football, and he has run all the way to the end zone thinking the play was still alive. McAdoo's wondering what's going on here. So Beckham picked up the loose ball. The play was dead. And now
I think they're going to give them a fresh 40, because
here's Vinovich. They put 40 on the clock. Officials can communicate with each other. Crowd upset because they felt they should be forced to run a play faster than they would have liked. Look again here. Ball comes out.
I mean,
slotted away.
As a wide receiver, you don't know what's going on.
Please reset the game clock to 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And we'll start both of them on my whine. Thank you.
I mean, Odell Beckham had no idea. He sees the ball. He sees somebody for the Cowboys reaching down for it. He's playing football. That's the right call by these officials.
So now 3rd and 2. And
we need the play clock at 40, please.
Right. They didn't start it.
Put the game clock at 4:20.
Okay, back to 4:20. Play clock at 40.
Thank you.
There we go. Sort of, kind of.
Please put the play clock at 40.
Okay.
Thank you. We're going to wind them both.
They're going to
on
wind
my
the
whistle.
clock. So really, Eli should take advantage of that.
Right. He can run it down to 3:40.
Exactly. He's got it. He doesn't want to snap this football here.
If he wants to, he can take all that time off the clock. Crowd knows it, doesn't like it.
And
Third down and 2.
That was greatly to their favor.
No sense rushing it. Milks about half the play clock and then throws, and that's going to be a 1st down. Brandon Carr wrestling Odell Beckham to a halt, but a 1st down.
You know, some points in the game, you just go, where's my best guy? And you go get him the ball. And you say, here we go. We're going to take our chances with our best guy against your $50 million corner and see what happens. With those vice grip hands. So there's one. Probably need at least 3, maybe 4 first downs. And that was a big one to get them off their own end.
Big 5-yard pickup. And taking a lot of time off the clock. And 1st down, slithering through, breaking free, and all the way to the 40-yard line goes Jennings, right through the middle. Finally tackled by Wilcox, 25 huge yards.
Larry Donnell is going to come across and get just enough on the outside of DeMarcus Lawrence, who almost got there. Rashad Jennings with a nice little hesitation there. He saw what was happening, allowed it to happen in front of him, then he was off.
Officially a 27-yard gain. 240 and counting down. Cowboys have to start thinking about using their timeouts. But first things first, they need to stop early on first down. And instead, you got Jennings again, setting up a 2nd and 3. Tackled there by Sean Lee. And the Giants can now take this one down to the 2-minute warning. However, Cowboys are going to take a timeout.
Everybody in new positions on this offensive line. Jeff Schwartz here. You got Pugh coming around, who played right tackle last year. They thought about moving him to guard last year because of his ability to move and to pull. And who knows, maybe this Giant offensive line starts making some plays. They do have a lot of high draft picks. Eric Flowers 1st round, Justin Pugh 1st round, Weston Richburg 2nd round. Maybe these guys are coming of age.
And a healthy Jennings will help out a lot. Heard a good part of last season. 2nd down now and 3 from the 33. Again. And this time stopped about 2 yards short at the 32-yard line. And the Cowboys are going to take another timeout. And now you got flags all over the place. You got a wrestling match going on. You got Eric Flowers involved in it. You know that for certain because his helmet is off. Randall clapping as if the flag is going to be against Dallas. Coughlin saying, get my guys off the field.
Prior to the timeout, after the play was over, personal foul, defense number 92, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Gigantic. Mincy.
What the heck? Jawing a little bit. Who cares? No question about it. Good job by Flowers. Yep. The rookie's the one that acts the correct way. The veteran's the one that messed it up. Wow. Nice job by Eric Flowers. Would have been very easy for him to swing back at that one. This is a guy that Michelle Tafoya knows all too well. Eric Flowers doesn't say anything, even in an interview. And Jeremy Mincy.
Now they're talking about the timeout and giving them the timeout back. And that's what Coughlin wants to know. So here's Vinovich again. He's going, did they call the timeout and then the foul? So you should take the timeout away?
Because of the penalty, the clock stops. Dallas was not charged with the timeout.
They're very fortunate with that, too. So we're ready to call a timeout. The clock stopped because of the penalty. So they're back to 2 timeouts, but right now it's all about a stop. They got to keep them in a 1-possession game situation. Hold them to a field goal at worst. The clock will stop at the 2-minute warning, and they have 2 timeouts. 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. This time it's Williams. He'll get bunched up at the 15-yard line. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Crowd of 93,000, and they are dead quiet right now.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 76 is on the line, end of the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Deep first down.
So
that's big because the clock stops on the penalty.
So because the Giants didn't have a receiver on that side of the ball, there's nobody out here to play receiver, so that means the eligible guy is right there in Eric Flowers, so he would have had to report.
And because of the penalty, the clock stops. The Cowboys were ready to take a timeout, which they'll probably do anyway after this play before the 2-minute warning. So we go back to a 2nd down and 9 at the 16.
Got to one-on-one at the top if you have the guts.
Instead, they'll run to the outside, won't go anywhere. They keep him in bounds. They can take the timeout. Kyle Wilbur makes the stop, and they're going to let it go. They'll take their remaining timeouts on the other side of the 2-minute warning. It'll be 3rd down coming up. Crazy. All night. Coming down to the end. 3-point game. First things first, it's 3rd and 14. Dallas with 2 timeouts. The Giants at the 20. Manning going empty. Flag is thrown. Dallas was offside. The pass is caught by Odell Beckham, and the Cowboys were offside. Came across the line. Free play. Exploited. By the end of this thing, it's going to be 1st and goal.
Just so smart by Eli Manning. He spies the rookie out there, Byron Jones.
Offside.
He sees the offsides.
Defense number 90. Penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
So now you have no risk involved in this one. You take your shot. There's the rookie right there, Byron Jones. Beautiful job by Odell to get right around him. I wonder if Eli throws that ball if they don't get the end to jump off sides, because that was a tight throw, beautifully thrown ball down to protect his receiver. And there he is when you least wanted to see him.
DeMarcus Lawrence jumping. Critical penalties. Of course, the turnover is the whole story. 3 tonight. Jennings is the running back from the 4. And Jennings plows his way to the 1. If you're the Cowboys right now, I know you make it a 2-possession game, but I mean, where do you go here? Take a timeout.
You got no choice. You got to play this out, right? I mean, you got to keep them out of the end zone, hold them to a field goal here.
2nd down and goal. Recap on the pulse. Here's Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie at the end of the half, and then on the ensuing opportunity, it was Escobar for the touchdown. 1-yard pass to Witten brought him back to within 3. Manning, McAdoo, and Coughlin. Tom in his 12th season. 1 year for every grandchild. His 12th is on the way.
You know, and everybody had completely written off the New York Giants. They did not look good in preseason. Things were falling apart. They had key injuries, but they had Tom Coughlin. And when you have Tom Coughlin in huge games, I think the New England Patriots would agree, you better be careful.
He's been to a few. 2nd and goal. And they bunched him up at the goal line. Jennings.
There's plenty of time. There is plenty of time here. We saw this game in this way in New York last year. Giants go down, take the lead. You think it's over, and then Tony Romo goes all the way back down the field with the game winner to Des Bryant. So believe me, Tony's over there going, all we got to do is hold them 1 play here from the 1-yard line, make them kick this field goal, and we've got a shot.
Simple as that, basically, because they're out of timeouts right now. You have no Des Bryant on the other side, but that didn't matter on that last drive. And Eli comes in on a 3rd down and goal. Jennings, the tailback. Whitlock, the fullback. Beckham in motion. Carr staying with him. Play action. Rolling under pressure. He has to throw that one out of the back of the end zone. So they are able to hold him to a field goal attempt. It'll still be a 1-possession game. No timeouts when they get the ball back. And on 4th down, Manning's looking over to the bench. This is an interesting call here. Do you want to kick a field goal?
I think you have to.
I think you do, but then again, even if you don't get it, you make Dallas start at its own 1-yard line. But then again, you got to make them get a touchdown here.
And the decision to throw that football right there cost you another 40 seconds. So now you have a real opportunity. I was thinking they were going to be down under a minute when they got the ball back.
19-yard attempt by Brown, so they forced Dallas to go all the way down the field and do it without a timeout with 94 seconds remaining on the clock.
You know, it was interesting. Barry Church was all over the receiver down the field on that play. And if Eli had opted to throw that one a little closer, I wonder if they would have gotten the pass interference call. Watch this right here. There's a lot of contact. There's a lot more than what Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie saw. So they're down the field. You're allowed, you're beyond 5 yards now. Now, if he hums that thing right over the head of Daniel Fells right there, he might have gotten that call. But obviously uncatchable and no flag.
(26-20). Cowboys will have to go. It's a touchback, 80 yards. Romo tonight 31 out of 39 for 284. 2 touchdowns and those 2 big interceptions.
Huge decision to throw the football right there. You want to be aggressive, you want to do that, but boy, that extra 35 seconds plays in large right now.
And that's a hopper that's going to be fielded up at the 7-yard line. And this is Tyler Patman, the defensive back, and Patman will get out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So it's 72 yards for Tony Romo. And the Cowboys, they still have Des Bryant in the locker room.
Now we're going to find out a lot about Steve Spagnuolo, the new defensive coordinator, who is the old defensive coordinator who put a ring on his finger as a world champion. How does he play this one?
Start with Williams going out to the right side. Street, who's taking Bryant's place, to the left. You've got Beasley in the slot to the left, and Witten as well. Dunbar is the back. Dunbar makes the catch. Dunbar into Giants territory to the 49-yard line. Cowboys hustle to the line of scrimmage. That's a gain of 23.
Got your best receiving running back against their middle linebacker. Took advantage.
4-man rush. Tony, a little dump off. That's caught on the run. This is Dunbar again to the 32-yard line. Tackled by Casillas.
Tony Romo masterful so far. Boy, that was a little dart he threw out there as he stepped up.
46-45 and going down on first down. Romo in the pocket. Witten to the 19-yard line. Unga makes the stop. Tony wants Witten to get lined up on the left side.
A lot of quarterbacks want to spike the ball here. Not Tony Romo. He's got them on their heels, and he wants it to stay that way.
22 seconds. Romo looking over the middle and incomplete into traffic. Beasley was the intended receiver. Quartet of Giants surrounded him. 17 seconds. Second down.
17 seconds that would not have been there if they had run the ball on the other end. Now you have to be careful. You catch this ball in the middle of the field, and you've got to really sprint to get off another one.
You got to sprint to it to spike it. Play clock at 3. Romo to the outside, caught out of bounds. That stops the clock with 13. Terrence Williams.
Now I would be very uncomfortable throwing to the middle of the field. Usually 15, 16 seconds is what it takes. I'm not saying you can't complete it and still have a shot, but I'm taking shots at the end zone now because I think you can get obviously at least 2.
Well, it's third down. 3rd and 2, 13 seconds as Romo changes up.
59 down. 47.
Giants defense. All the pressure on the left side. He drops the ball, throws, caught, Witten. Touchdown. That is just crazy. Dropped it, picked it up. 6 plays, 72 yards, made it look easy.
Tony Romo's taken a lot of heat over the years for not playing in the clutch. That was pretty darn strong, just like he was in December last year, nearly flawless. And guess where he went? Right after the rookie inside linebacker with his veteran.
Now the anything but automatic extra point with a new rule to give Dallas the lead. Dan Bailey, and he does. Well, Tony Romo has had as many excruciating losses as anybody. And he's had some dramatic wins as well.
The snap to Romo really hit him in the hands. He just dropped it, probably looking down the field, but the protection, as it's been all night long, just so good. And there's where probably you missed John Beeson the most. John Beeson would have fully understood where that ball was going, that there's no reason as the middle linebacker to back into the end zone, because Jason Witten's not going to stop anywhere past the end line. He just went down there and turned around. It could not have been easier. So they start the drive attacking the young middle linebacker, and they finish it off the same way. Unbelievable.
8 catches tonight, 60 yards for Witten. Cowboys with 7 seconds left. Holding on, will win a game, losing the turnover battle 3-0. Not having Bryant for most of the game.
I tell you, you have to give some credit to Scott Linehan. He's created a system that allows Tony Romo in the key moments of games to do it himself. They suggest plays, but it's really on Tony Romo, and what a feel Romo had for that drive.
Meanwhile, the Giants have Beckham deep, hoping that he can return it. He tries to leap to catch it and can't. So they'll have one play from the 20-yard line. Maybe 2. They've got a timeout at their disposal, obviously. Well,
once again, a decision to not run from the 1-yard line is going to be widely discussed.
And a chance to take a lot of time off the clock, and they let that one go by the boards. Cowboys with a cover 7. And that's dropped. 4 seconds. That was Vereen.
You know, I know it's hindsight now, but if you could have thought about it, the right play for Eli Manning in that situation, if he didn't like the pass, was to take the sack. You take the sack there. You don't throw it away.
Let the clock run or make them use a timeout. They didn't have one at that point, so the clock would have run. 2nd down and 10. One last gasp. Looking for a lateral. Vereen looking behind him. Ball is loose, picked up by Parker, and that will end a game that's going to be very hard to describe unless you got about 20 minutes to listen.
Wow. Welcome to Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. Just another one. Giants Cowboys. That's the 5th consecutive time that the Cowboys have defeated the Giants. None of them have been like this one. 3 turnovers to none. Some unbelievably hurtful penalties. They overcame everything at the end and win it.
How about what Tom Coughlin told us? He said it'll probably cost take at least 28 points to win it. It would have.
Yeah. Had that right on the number.
Here's the play. They decide to go play action. Now Eli's going to scramble around. The right decision there would have been to take the sack. If you're at all not comfortable, take another step or two towards the line of scrimmage, take a knee, and instead the extra 35 seconds won the game for the Dallas Cowboys.
Crazy stuff on both sides of the ball tonight. What a game. 27-26.